Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's Christina from Our Wood Home. Today I'll be talking about Proverbs 31 verse 15. This is the fifth video in the Proverbs 31 study series here on my channel, so let's get right into that. With part 1 of the study, we looked at what it means to be an excellent wife, and that seemed doable to me. Part 2 was about being trustworthy, and part 3 was a bit more in-depth as we talked about intentionally serving our family. In my opinion, all those things are achievable for us modern-day women, especially if we look to God for guidance. But verse 15 was a little bit different. Let's take a look at what that says. She rises also while it is still night, and gives food to her household and portions to her maidens. I like my sleep, and I don't like to get up unnecessarily early. And at first glance, this verse knocked me down a few pegs, but I did some digging, and here's what I found. Rising at night doesn't literally mean at night, but it does mean starting the day early. Let's go back to that section. Rising at night, or getting out of bed early in the day, means that this wife and mother is willing and ready to get things going. She desires to be productive and knows that it is more achievable if she gets a head start. I can speak of this in my own life. I really like to sleep in, especially since I usually have restless sleep during the night. It would be so much easier and more comfortable, and dare I say, even thoughtful if my husband would let me sleep in. He could get up early to prepare for his day, then he could make his own lunch and breakfast too. While he's up, he can take extra time to take care of the chickens, let the dogs out, build the fires in the wood stove. I mean, it would just be so thoughtful of him to let me rest a bit more. I don't know if you could pick up on the sarcasm there, but that's how I intended it. It certainly would be nice for that to happen, but it would be even nicer if I was the one doing what I can to make my husband's day run smoothly. He works hard all day so that I'm able to stay home as a homemaker and work part-time from home. When I wake up at a reasonable time, I feel like I'm contributing to a better day for him because his pre-work tasks are minimal. When I get a head start on my share of the morning tasks, he knows he won't be rushed or late leaving because everything else is taken care of. Moving on to the second part of this verse, divvying up the food. My first thought was that household and maidens were in reference to hired help. That doesn't apply to me, and maybe not many of you either. I did some research, and there were a few different ideas as to what this means. Firstly, it could be that this woman cares for the needs of her staff and makes sure they're ready to begin their days. If this is the case, she's a very thoughtful employer. But how does that translate to us present-day keepers of the home? I suppose if you had hired help for cleaning, cooking, childcare, etc., it would mean that you treat them with respect and utmost appreciation. Doing so would show that you care about the needs of people who you aren't required to care for. If you don't have household staff, you can still learn from this passage. It indicates we should be selfless, caring for others, thinking about people we may otherwise take for granted. The other interpretation I came across was that household means her family, her husband and children, and whoever else may be related to her and living in that dwelling. So this wife and mother gets up early to make sure that her family's needs are met, maybe even before her own. What does that mean for us? It is similar to what we read about in week 3 of the study. Here's an excerpt. Let me ask you a question. How often do you delight in your chores or tasks, all the stuff that's involved with running a home? Do you delight in grocery shopping, sock matching, and toilet scrubbing? I admit that I don't always, but the worthy wife, as described here, does. She would have gone to market to find her wool and flax, and maybe even multiple markets or multiple sellers. Then she has to either carry all that back herself or arrange for transport. And if she spins and weaves the materials, that's a whole other chore. But she works in delight. She enjoys her tasks, even though they may seem mundane. The worthy wife in Proverbs serves her family, actively pursues ways to meet their needs, and does so with intent and happiness. Part of making that happen is starting our days with purpose and a diligent spirit. It means we make our family a priority. I don't want to be misinterpreted, though. My words aren't meant to be interpreted as women should put themselves last at all times and make sure their husbands and kids have everything they need first. Doing so all the time can cause burnout, stress, resentment, and even physical health problems. When I get up early to make sure I help my husband, I also make sure my basic needs are met first. For example, I go to the washroom, brush my hair so it's out of the way, get a quick snack or a drink if I need to, etc. The point I'm trying to make is that we, as wives who aspire to be like the Proverbs 31 woman, should be making an effort to care for the needs of our families. I'd love to know your thoughts on this passage, so please do let me know in the comments. And as always, I'm not an expert on this. This is just my interpretation, my thoughts, what I've learned through study. If you have differing views, that's fine. I'm not claiming to be the expert on this. I hope you enjoyed this video and feel free to leave a comment below, as I said. If you haven't already, I suggest you take a look at the other videos in this Proverbs 31 series. And if you like what you see, please consider subscribing. Thank you so much. Have a great day.